Hello everyone, I am Reiki Master Sharon, and tonight I just wanted to do a quick reading for you guys because I felt there was a very strong message that I needed to share, especially with the masculine collective, or even, the masculine energy of yourself, since we both have, or we all have a balance of masculine and feminine energies within us. So the message that I have coming through really resonates with my last reading regarding the crown chakra of the masculines, and how Spirit is really calling them to open their crown chakra and be receptive to the transformative energy of the Creator. So I did a little bit of a offline read just to kind of see a little bit more of what was coming through for us today. So we have the Devil, the Empress, the Chariot, and the Three of Wands. Now what I'm really drawn to here with the Devil card is, if you can see here, the Devil is got this kind of wand here, and there's this big flame here, and if you can tell, it's really close to the masculine's behind, is what I'll say. So I really feel like the Devil is kind of just lighting a fire under their asses, kind of, or at least maybe it feels like that. To come towards the Empress, because we have the Empress here, Chariot, and what I'm really drawn to with the Chariot card is the masculine energy, this white masculine energy here, really coming forward and looking at the future that they want to have. And the reason why I flipped this card over, if you were wondering, is because I haven't quite blocked off the nude parts of the Devil card yet, and I don't want to be flagged by YouTube. So I'm just hoping that doesn't interfere with the message that I'm trying to convey here in this reading. So basically what we have here is that we have a very strong soul contract. And what I'm really thinking of here is the ties that bind in the aspect of the Devil card with the Empress and the Emperor. And I really do feel this masculine wanting to come forward towards the Empress. And I feel like a lot of what may be holding the masculine back is a lot of subconscious programming. So we have another card here. This is Children. Cherish and enter their world. So this card really speaks to the line in the Bible where the disciples are trying to keep the children away from Jesus, and Jesus is like, no, let them come to me, because the kingdom of heaven is basically easier for children to enter than adults. And I think that really comes from the fact that when we come into the world, we don't come into the world with fear. Fear is something that is learned. It's a learned behavior. Hate is a learned behavior, right? We don't learn to hate something or to fear something until we're hurt by said thing. Whether it be your parents, or your siblings, or your step-parents, or your family, or your friends, someone around you planted a seed of fear within you, whether they intentionally did it or not. Because a lot of the subconscious fears that are programmed within us are really just kind of given to us on accident. our parents usually are the ones who pass down a lot of those subconscious fears because that's what they were taught and that's what their default programming goes back to. But the good news in this is that your subconscious can be reprogrammed. So once you are able to consciously see something that you've learned that was out of fear, you can consciously decide that you want to think of that thing in a new light. And it's sometimes not as simple as that. Sometimes it takes repetition in repeating and reaffirming to yourself that these things are subconscious programmings of fear that you want to release. And that's where God comes in, because love, light, energy transmutes those dark shadows, and that's where we get into the concept of shadow work. So if you're not familiar with the concept of shadow work, I would really encourage you to really do some research yourself on those kinds of things. You can Google those kinds of things. Carl Jung is a psychologist that he wrote a lot on these kinds of subjects, but I can kind of give you a couple examples of what fear-based programming might sound like. It might sound like you can't trust anyone. It could sound like no one really cares about you. No one really is showing up for you. You are the only thing that you have. No one really likes you. You just mess everything up. Those are subconscious programmings of fear that need to be unlearned in the subconscious mind. Because until you release those, your default is going to go back to those every time, and you're consciously going to have to fight it. Because if you don't, you're not going to be able to live in a heaven on earth. You're going to be living in a living hell with the devil. Not that I want to invoke fear, but it's a choice that we make. In this devil card, they're bound to the devil in chains, but they can easily take those chains off. They can easily get away from that devil, but the chains being there themselves make them feel restricted, make them feel like that's where they're supposed to be, and that's not where the divine creator is wanting them to stay. You may need to go through some things to learn a lesson to grow from, so that you can grow and evolve and help others to elevate, but you are not meant to stay there. You are not meant to stay in misery. Your life is supposed to be filled with success. You are not supposed to wake up every day hurting. You are not supposed to go to a job every day and hate going there and dread going there every day. That is not the life that your Creator has meant for you. And the truth of the matter is, if you are stuck in that kind of lifestyle, whether it be with friends or people around you or your job, it's because you've been programmed to tolerate that in your life. You've been programmed to think that this is a normal reality for everyone when it's not. And I really just want to encourage you to really think about the things that I've just said and consider that you can live a life that is fulfilling and happy without pain, without the kind of everyday suffering that just makes life intolerable and insufferable. Obviously, we are all going to come across things and people that aren't going to be what we would consider an ideal situation or circumstance. People die, people are angry, people have triggers of their own that are going to arise, but we learn to meet those with compassion because we know that we once too were triggered by things that hurt us in the past. We can have compassion for somebody like that. We can have compassion for someone who is mourning the loss of a loved one in the physical world. But we can learn that just because their energy is not in a physical body, it is still somewhere. It is still alive. It is still... You can still access that loved one with intention. And that makes the hurt of losing someone a little lighter, because it doesn't feel like it's so eternal. It doesn't feel like they're gone forever. It's not a goodbye, it's a I'll see you later kind of thing. I'll feel you later, even if you don't necessarily see them in another life, or in even when you ascend to become one with the Creator. So I just feel like this is a very important message for the masculines, because this subconscious programming takes the wheel a lot of times, and we often aren't aware of it. That's why it's called a subconscious mind, right? So when we become aware of the subconscious mind, then we bring it into our conscious mind. And once we pull things out of our subconscious and bring them to the conscious, then we are able to transmute that energy and let it release, let it go. And we can start focusing on the things that we want to reprogram our mind with love, with compassion for ourselves, with compassion for others, especially love and compassion for ourselves, because a lot of that subconscious programming really, really, really drags your energy down to a level where it makes it very difficult for you to succeed. And you deserve success. And once you hear that, once you know that, once you feel that, then you can bring that into your current reality. And that's the key that you need. In the Bible, God tells us that we are gods. We are creators. We are creators of our reality. So, with that knowledge, you're empowered, and you don't have to be the victim anymore. You can actually take the reins of your life and steer it in a direction that you actually want to go. You can start living a life that is actually peaceful, around people who love you, around people who are supportive of you. And that can be very empowering. It can help you to grow. It can help you to succeed. It can align you with the people that are going to put you in rooms with people that can open doors that you can't even fathom at this time. And that is something very powerful. It's a amazing to see God work in your life, because He is not an entity that is outside of yourself. And that's what societal programming wants you to believe. Every living thing on this earth has God energy within it. Everything that you see was once imagined. And you are very, very powerful. So I am feeling called to pull a little bit more on this Three of Wands energy. And see if we can get some message cards here from my Sun deck. Alright, God, what do we need to know about this forward movement that I may have not said in regards to bookending this Devil energy? Okay. Leo, Virgo, Cancer, Scorpio, protect your energy, Pisces. Okay, so what I'm feeling here, okay, so with the Leo card, I'm feeling the Strength card, and that's Leo energy. And I feel like the masculines are feeling stuck in this Devil energy because they need to be empowered. You need to be empowered. You need someone to remind you of your power. You are very powerful. Your mind is very powerful. What you think, you're going to experience in your life. And you really need to think about that. Because that's where discipline comes in. When you can discipline your mind, you're unstoppable. So maybe look into some ways that you can really discipline your thoughts. Maybe look into some guided meditations on YouTube that'll guide you through some visualizations in your mind so that you can experience within your mind's eye a sense of peace and hold on to that place. You know, when I was in massage school, they had us do meditations a lot, and they really encouraged us to find a safe space that we can retreat to within our mind in a meditative state so that we can bring ourselves back to a sense of peace. Because a lot of times we get stuck in a cycle of overthinking, and you can think yourself out of doing things that you need to do. You can think yourself out of doing things that are good for you. You can, just like I said, you can be triggered by that subconscious mind that tells you all of these negative things. It tells you you're not good enough. That tells you you're just going to fuck everything up. Pardon my language. But it's true. It's true that that's what the ego says. It's not true that that is the only answer. That is a choice. You can choose not to do that. You can choose not to be that person. You can choose to rewrite that subconscious programming within yourself. You can even do like subliminal meditation where you don't actually hear the words very loudly, but your subconscious mind will still pick it up as you're sleeping. You can try that. And that way your conscious mind can't reject it when it hears it. I also see the Virgo card in reverse, and I feel like this is a sense of coming out of hermit mode. And Cancer, I'm on top of the Chariot card, which is exactly what I'm feeling. Coming out of hermit mode and moving forward. Scorpio card, I'm really thinking death and rebirth. This is really, once you learn to unlock the door of your subconscious mind, you're able to bring in love and light to transform that energy. And that is a sense of death and rebirth. And you're going to have multiple experiences of death and rebirth. Parts of yourself are continuously, they're going to die and be reborn. Thought patterns are going to die and be reborn. It's going to be a constant cycle. And every time you're going to go a little deeper. And that is all, it's really why we're here. We're here to undo this subconscious programming and to elevate and learn how to grow closer to ourselves, to God, to the I am. Because you are God. God is in you. God is everywhere and everything. And that is why when you're unkind to another person, it affects you. It is why when you're unkind to yourself, it affects you. Because every living thing is God. In the beginning of John, he says something like, I can't quote it word for word, but in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Without the Word, nothing that has been made without it, basically. So you really have to be mindful of your thoughts, and you have to be mindful of your words, because you can speak things into existence. You don't want to speak into existence that you're a piece of shit. No, don't do that. Because you're not. You are a human being with a soul and an energy of God within you. And you are a powerful creator of your reality. And if your reality is miserable, you really need to take a look at how you're thinking, what you're envisioning of your life, and start to change it. If you want to see a change. Because no one can change it, no one can open that door but you. Protect your energy. Consider the people that are around you and how they're affecting you and how they're affecting your energy. Because I'm feeling a lot of empathy off of this Pisces card. That's what I feel. I feel empathy. You have to protect yourself. You have to protect your energy. And yes, other people have their thoughts and their own agendas for what they think that you should be doing with your life. But ultimately, if you're not happy, you can't make anybody else happy. And if you're doing something just because you want to make somebody else happy, you're just going to be falling short. Because it's not making you happy. And when you are not happy, you can't make anybody else happy. So in that sense, to be merciful to somebody else, sometimes you have to love yourself enough to express what it is that you need to be happy. And if they can't provide that for you, or that doesn't align with what their agenda is for themselves, then that just means that you have to say, okay, well, we're just going to have to go separate ways. Because what makes you happy and what makes me happy isn't aligning. And there's somebody out there that's going to align with your agenda. Or you're going to learn and grow and get another agenda. Because everything changes. People change. Situations change. That's why it's so hard for people to stay in marriages for a long time, because everybody has free will. And if one person is growing and the other person chooses not to grow, then eventually they grow apart. And that's just the reality of how things work sometimes. It doesn't always happen that way. Some people, they stay together and they're happy, and there have been people who are so in love that when one of them dies, the other one dies of a broken heart because they're so connected. But there's also people who stay in miserable relationships just for the sake of the kids, or just to make somebody else happy. And the truth of the matter is neither of them are actually truly happy. They just got comfortable. And comfort is not always your friend. So, that is the message that I have for you guys tonight. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Love to see you next time. I am considering doing a weekly reading so that I can be a little bit more consistent with you guys. I don't know if it's going to be a set day or at least once a week, but please keep your eye out for that. And I'd love to have you guys here next time. Have a great night.